You know, every single time I see an unnecessary sequel, I think of this clip from Free Guy.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
You love Kentucky Fried Chicken, right?
No.
If you love Kentucky Fried Chicken and I made Kentucky Fried Chicken and I know that you love Kentucky Fried Chicken, why would I make another restaurant called, I don't know, Albuquerque Boiled Turkey? Okay? Makes no sense, homie.
No sense.
What am I going to give you? A sequel, Kentucky Fried Chicken Chicken Part 2.
Kentucky Fried Chicken Chicken 2. I saw it. I mean, I can only imagine too. Up next at Mark at the Movies.
This song needs you. Sometimes your dreams can rise from the ashes.
Well, I had the opportunity to see Lionsgate, I Can Only Imagine 2 this afternoon, and I will tell you, sometimes movies should just be, well, enough alone as standalone pieces. The first I Can Only Imagine movie was really, really, really well done. It's based off of the lead singer for CCM's, one of their most popular bands, Mercy Me, the lead singer, Bart Millard, his journey with his abusive father and his dad coming to faith and writing one of the most popular Christian songs, contemporary songs of all time, I Can Only Imagine. And it was super worthwhile, really good watch, very compelling, extremely dramatic, and apparently mostly a true story. And that came out, 2017, 2018, honestly, when the world was very different. Not a lot of Christian content back then. Since then, Angel Studios has come out. The Chosen has come out. Lots of quality enough Christian content has come out into the world. And it feels like I Can Only Imagine 2 is stuck in those 20-teen years. It feels and plays out much like the first film, with much less dramatic effect. It really feels like, hey, the first one was a success. It was, I think, a $17 million budget, and it ended up making $83 million worldwide, which for a small company is a huge hit. Well, this time around, they more than doubled the budget in the tens of millions of dollars. It made $8 million over the weekend. This movie isn't going to make a profit. And why? Well, with several reasons. Look, this is a fine movie for the nichiest of niches. What do I mean by that? Well, this movie is absolutely written, produced, and made for people who love Christian contemporary music and are familiar with it. It's one of my favorite types of music, honestly, and this film was, well, kind of boring. There wasn't a lot of drama in this film like the first one. Yes, everybody in the world has problems. Is it worthwhile enough to make a movie out of it? I'm not so sure on that one. It's well, what is it about? It's about after the breakout success of Bart Millard and Mercy Me's hit, I Can Only Imagine what happens after that. His trying to accept the abusive, and then the coming together of him and his father's relationship. Now, what is he doing with passing it along with his son, Sam, who now has an illness, and being on the road and writing music. And also, it is partly Vito Ventimiglia. Try to say that 5 times fast. Vito Ventimiglia. I can't even say it once. Him playing Tim Timmons and having a disease himself. It felt like, hey, we've got kind of a plot here and kind of a movie, and really center it around one of the deepest and most profound songs in Christian contemporary music that's not I Can Only Imagine. So centering it around Even If, which is their second biggest hit, of all time. And you know, I'll tell you, I was looking forward to the film. I was surprised at how boring it was in a lot of sections. It just kind of like, it played out like a slice of life with not a lot of stakes to it. And I think that's because there's not a lot of chemistry in this film between the characters, even the father and son characters. Not a ton of chemistry here. Look, everyone in this, acting wise, is fine. They really are. They're fine. You have J. Michael Finley playing the lead character, and he's a good actor. He's good. He just isn't given a lot to do in this except sulk and cry periodically until you get to the end. And this feels very deliberate, and not only deliberate, but very unfair. Look, if you like CCM music, Even If is a powerful song. So no matter what, once you get to the end, you're going to feel emotions because that is a big song. But look, that song came out 9 years ago. I Can Only Imagine came out 25 years ago. And Mercy Me hasn't super been on the airwaves lately, as far as, you know, the Christian radio stations go. So I am thinking this is not going to be a big hit for Lionsgate. As a matter of fact, they might lose money on this, which is okay, because sometimes we need to just leave well alone. And sometimes these niche industries need to build off of something else. You know, you look at whether it's Iron Lung that came out not too long ago, or Solo Mio, you know, not my favorite film, certainly, but they understand enough what the public wants so that they can break even or make a buck on this. So I wonder if Lionsgate needs to learn from this and take a hit on I Can Only Imagine 2 and move on to something else. This wasn't a bad movie. Look, anyone who goes to the movies who's a Christian, who likes CCM content, and who doesn't go to see the movies a lot will guarantee come out of that movie going, that was one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. And, you know, and God bless him for that. You know, for me as a movie critic, though, this was less than average. I would give it a very, very low 4 stars. Of course, it generated emotion from me at the end because of the powerful and beautiful song and because the father and son relationship. But as a film on its own, it's poor content. Christian content needs to be better in the 21st century. What century are we in? 21st century? Yeah. In order to thrive. So I'm begging you guys, do better. Well, how about you? Are you a CCM fan? Do you like Audio Adrenaline and Rich Mullins and all these different old-time bands that they bring up in I Can Only Imagine 2? Are you going to see I Can Only Imagine 2? What did you think of it? Drop a comment below. Give me a like and subscribe. Let's talk about movies. Let's go to the movies at Mark at the movies.